Hello there. Sorry about that. Hi there. Good evening from Wadawarong country. My name is Bettina Atwill, and I'm here today to talk to you about interest-based learning. So, good evening again, once again, everybody. My name is Bettina Atwill, and wait, hold on, I'm going to ask my husband to. Babe, I'm sorry, I'm just on live. Husband's just trying to eat some ice cream. Anyway. Good evening, everyone. My name is Bettina Atwill. Sorry, my husband, I'm on the floor right now in front of my kitchen counter, and my husband's about to have a midnight snack, and he's about to eat ice cream, so it's a bit loud. So, again, good evening. My name is Bettina Atwill, and good morning in America, good evening in the Philippines, good afternoon in Norway, good afternoon in Dubai, good afternoon in, where else is it afternoon? In the UK. And hello everyone, welcome to my very first live for December. So again, my name is Bettina Atwill, and if you're here watching, please drop by and give me that thumbs up or that love heart to know that you're here with me today and that you're tuning in, because it's really good to see engagement, and I would love to know your feedback, and I would love to know more questions, because I'm here today actually because of a few questions that some of our members from the community reached out to me with, and some questions pertain to what were good activities, if the activities that they were giving or facilitating with their children, if they were good enough and everything. And obviously, I'm no one to say if an experience is good for a specific child or not. That's not my place, but instead I threw back the question is, what's their interest? And this led me to, this inspired me because there's a specific approach that I have been using with children that I have been working with over the past 20 years. So I've been in the early childhood industry for over most of my life. Since I was 8 years old, I've already been working with 5-year-old children in my tita's school. So I've been in this industry for a while, and I've invested myself personally, so I know what works and what doesn't, and I've got this very strong philosophy in early childhood, and there are certain approaches that help me with my practice, and one approach is the interest-based learning. So if anyone would want to share their concept of what they think interest-based learning is, please drop by and write anything down you want in the comments below. If you have any questions, make sure you ask it in the comments below as well. So I did get a few questions on the different types of experiences, if they were good enough or whatnot, and then I threw back the question on what's their interest. So one question I got was, well, how can I help a group of 5 or 10 children participate fully and be engaged and want to do the same thing? And so and that leads back to the interest-based learning. Another question I got was from another mom who asked about her child doing this specific thing, this experience on airplanes, and then the next week the experience went to nature, and the week after the experience moved on to Christmas, and I asked if that specific teacher, those were really nice, beautiful experiences were extended on, because sometimes when you extend on experiences, that's where the retention happens, and that's where the more learning and deeper learning happens. So let's talk, that's something a little bit overarching, and let's talk about interest-based learning in a very practical way, which you can do after you jump off this little program today. Okay, so the interest-based approach is an approach of learning, of finding new knowledge, and this approach is not something new. In fact, all the way back in ancient times in China, Confucius was a big fan of this type of education. Then we also have Socrates, who believed in the facets of the human being and his ability to be an active learner. And then we also have Montessori, who's had that strong belief on following the child. And then you have Steiner, who also has similar beliefs on giving the child that agency to learn. And so these beliefs are all pretty worldwide. And it's a different approach. It's an approach that's been there, but it's still not in mainstream education as we speak, because it does take a bit longer. It's not a one-size-fits-all approach. It's a very personal and tailored and individual way of approaching learning. And this is why I love it, because it gives the children, it gives the learner that sense of belonging. So like they belong somewhere because they are heard, their interests are valued, their interests are supported into more learning activities or more learning experiences that will help them reach deeper knowledge. So it's because of the interest-based approach that people or children, the learners, can become lifelong learners because they're so interested and engaged in what it is they are learning. And if we provide that environment of supporting that interest and tapping into the other facets of their intelligences, such as numeracy, literature, music, and then we infuse it with art, and we infuse it with anti-bias and other concepts that will help guide their moral compass. These beautiful interests get uplifted into higher, deeper knowledge, and it will also help the children retain more. Because they're so interested in what they're learning, they can retain what it is they're learning, as opposed to having to memorize from a worksheet or having to memorize from a textbook what A is and what B is, what C is. So the opposite of interest-based learning could actually be rote learning. So, hi Lee, how are you? Anyway, so interest-based learning, as I said, it's a very personal way. And here's one way that you can incorporate interest-based learning with your child, or if you're a teacher, you can incorporate this as well. So, for example, let's say we have this little child, and this child's name is Kainoa. And Kainoa is about 3 years old. And his interests are cutting. He loves sensory activities. He loves putting things in and out of a box. He just loves that approach of putting something in, putting something out. He likes boxes. Loves cardboard, loves mixing things. Okay, so this is Kainoa's interests that have been observed. So if you have a child or if you have children, you can observe the children in your care or the child that it is that you're gearing, and observe what it is that they like during their play. So one way is to get on the floor with them. Just as I'm on the floor right now, get on the floor with them, and instead of leading the play, just stand back and observe. Observe that child, observe the way that child likes to play. So, for example, Kainoa likes putting things in and out of a box. And Kainoa's very movable, loves to just go everywhere. And so you can, and then a common interest is also Christmas, because Christmas is coming up. So, for example, you can make something simple as like giving a box to Kainoa and letting Kainoa be able to just explore what's in and out of the box. Right? So here, because Kainoa also likes mixing and likes sensory activity, this is and it's Christmas time, and Christmas is a big thing in Kainoa's household. Then here's a little box, and with an easy provocation. So some salt and some flour. And Kainoa can just probably mix the salt and the flour together and mix it with water and make salt dough. So instead of us doing the mixing and the kneading, Kainoa will be able to do this himself or herself. And then also another thing is that you want to keep this as open-ended as possible. So you can have cookie cutters, you can have stencils, but then you also want to encourage Kainoa to make their own sculptures from the salt dough. So there's an example of how you can tap into an interest of a child and then make it into an experience. So what's the learning behind this experience? When Kainoa is able to open this and close it, Kainoa is able to use their grip, their finger grip, and their strength. Okay, that's motor skills, and that is also some strength there. Now, if Kainoa is able to pour everything onto the bowl by himself, then then that's also another great motor skill. And then there's also the aspect of glass. So this is a glass jar, and Kainoa was 3 years old. So I'm incorporating a bit of risk in this play, even though it's indoor, but there's still a bit of risk. So that's an example. Now, Kainoa also likes cardboard. So there's a upcycled box. That's an old box. This box has been with us for 2 years now, which we made into a sled. And since Kainoa is so active, this box has a few pillows inside, some blankets, and Kainoa can sit down there and just relax. And since it's that closed enclosure, Kainoa can just hang out there and likes that feeling of being closed in a small space. Kainoa also likes to move around. So here we have this horse, which we painted some antlers and placed some antlers on and made it into a reindeer. So that's an example. Okay, let's take Jane. Jane Cabagnot is older. So Jane loves to write. Jane likes to feel safe. Janice loves Christmas because she's 7 years old. So she's really loving Christmas. She's singing, she loves dancing, she loves mixing and baking. Now, because this salt dough is so open-ended, the salt dough is really open-ended, that Jane will be able to also enjoy this. And it's an open-ended activity experience, so Jane can make probably more sophisticated sculptures, who knows, but then it's very open-ended, so it's right for Jane and Kainoa, even though their ages are different. So it's about understanding their interest. So Jane's interest was mixing and baking, and Kainoa's interest was in sensory experiences. So there you have it. And then, so Jane loves the Christmas spirit. Now, something about Jane is that she lives in a society or in a community where it's like a bubble, everything is still working. COVID seems like it was something that happened yesterday. It's not very apparent in her community right now. And Jane has been talking a lot about what she wants for Christmas and about Santa. And so do we really want to give Santa all the credit? So we want to infuse Jane's interests. So these are Jane's interests. We want to infuse it with some guiding values. And one guiding value, for example, that I'm a very big fan of is gratitude. So here's a gratitude. Here's a gratitude countdown to Christmas starting from December 10. And then after that, behind each date that Jane will have, there's a gratitude prompt. So for example, on December 10, Jane will take the 10th out and she will read a prompt. What is one thing you're grateful for that you've tasted lately? And Jane can answer. So in every single day, there's a different prompt. Now, if any of you would want this, you can have my templates. They're free, and you can just comment below if you would want this. I'm giving this away for you, to all of you, because it's my way of also sharing, and we're also very grateful here. So that's one way you can use the children's interest and infuse different values that you believe should be embedded in your children's lives. So another thing that Jane likes is Jane likes to write. So we made here a writing table. So it's a writing table or a gift-making station. In it is a little provocation, and because we want to also introduce the concept of upcycling to Jane, here's some old cards. Every year, Jane gets at least 40 cards for Christmas. And when you think about all the rubbish after Christmas, apparently statistics show that there's billions of gift wrapper after Christmas that get thrown into the landfill every year. You kind of want to not put these things in the landfill. So these are cards from previous years that have been cut up. So the other half have been cut up, and it's just the front. Okay, they're so beautiful cards. So what we can do, or what Jane can do, is she can make her own Christmas cards and simply just glue it. Now, to help Jane strengthen her writing skills, because Jane is learning to write and everything, there's also some different prompts that Jane can copy that are funny lines that she can put on her cards. Now, Jane also loves to build things. So here's an open-ended stem building thing with paddle pop sticks that Jane will be able to paste onto her card like that. Okay? And then Jane also likes to sing Christmas carols. So here's a box of Christmas song cards, and in the box there's some song cards in here, and the song cards are lyrics to different songs from around the world. So we also want to infuse culture in Christmas, or culture in Jane's learning experience. What we want is, we not only want to support their interest, but we also want to extend on it and to help them reach a higher level. So this is called scaffolding. And this is one way a very famous theorist, Lev Vygotsky, has come up with. And he believes that when this is a child's zone of proximal development, and then the child is here, and our job is to help the child move upper by providing that scaffolding. And we do that by providing them with experiences that they can relate to, that they can engage with. And so here's some song cards, and because Jane is also learning to read, the lyrics also help Jane. So that's the learning. The lyrics also help Jane enhance her reading skills. And because the lyrics are from all around the world, there's something from the Philippines, a special Christmas song from Australia, a special Christmas song from the UK, from America, then it also gives Jane the concept of how Christmas is celebrated in different parts of the world. So there it is. It's tapping into, So it's tapping into Jane's interest of Christmas. At the same time, it's also infusing cultural, anti-bias approach and cultural ways of understanding. So Jane, there's a post box behind that Jane and Kainoa can put at any time. And they can post their letters there, since Kainoa likes putting things in and out, and Jane likes the concept of writing, and that's a perfect activity, and it's just made from cardboard. These are all cardboard creations. Now, what if you're an educator with multiple children? So when you have multiple children, you can just use, the best way is to have a big piece blank paper. Blank paper is always best, and the best way is to map out. Start by writing their names, or you can group them up by friends, or it depends on how it is you observe. So it's really about the educator and how the educator observes the children. So if there's a group of children, and then you can write their names individually, and then from writing their names, you just jot down, do a brain purge, and purge out all the things you know about them that they are interested in. So Sienna likes circle time, she likes to role play mom and dad, she likes group games, and then there's Bob, who likes painting, insects, ramps, and role play. And Hayden likes singing, he likes cars, he likes bulldozers. Then you have Gina, who likes role play, jumping. She likes speeding, she likes painting. And Jake likes ramps, dinosaurs, cars. And at the moment, they all love Santa. So, because Christmas is coming up. So here you can see there's a whole range of interests, but at the same time, there's some similarities. And from mapping out all of your children's interests, then you can see the similarities, and then it will help you make more informed decisions on your programming. So here it's once again becoming a way, the interest-based approach is a way to help children lead the way in their learning, but still be able to provide experiences that are hands-on, experiences that will help them retain knowledge, and experiences that will help them bring them and uplift them into a different level. And so, yeah, that's interest-based learning in a nutshell. Very easy. All you need is white paper and maybe a few minutes to observe the children every day, or when you see your children playing, try to be mindful of what they're doing and observe them, and know that you're intentionally observing them, because that's also a great way to get to know your children, get to know their interests. So it's really a no-brainer, but then at the same time, it does take a bit of time. It does take some time to apply the interest-based learning, but then once you get the hang of it, you'll be able to see how this type of approach really helps the children move leaps and beyond, because you can infuse this with art, you can infuse this with visual arts, with music, with values, with environmental sustainability, and then it will just help them move so much further. And this approach is widely used in international schools, and the International Baccalaureate system uses this a lot, and it's a great system. But at the same time, this approach can also be used for anyone. It doesn't have to be used just for in international schools. It can also be used wherever or whatever your environment is like. It's all about understanding the theory and using it in practice and being intentional. So I think that's it for now, everyone. And if you have any questions, I haven't been looking at the comments, but then if you have any questions, please feel free to message me throughout the week. If you would want to have a template of the Christmas Gratitude Advent Calendar, the song cards, and what else do I have? And the salt dough recipe, and the little things that I made for Jane and Kainoa, who are actually my children, but I just changed their names for today. But yeah, so you can have them, message me, or you can write in the comments below if you would want the printable. It's something that you can share. It's something that you can edit. It's just a Canva template that you can use. I just made it yesterday, but then you can use it as much as you want, or you can share it with anyone, because it's meant to be for sharing. So once again, it's been a pleasure to have this live with you all, and I hope you are all safe. I hope you're all doing well. And greetings again from Wadawarong country. My name is Bettina Atwill, and it's such a pleasure. So keep your comments streaming through, keep your questions coming into this group, keep posting into this group if there's anything you like to share, something that you learned today and you are doing tomorrow. Share away. I would love to know how these things respond and resonate with you. So thank you again for everyone who's tuning in today, and have a good night, everyone, and I'll see you all next week. Bye.